In the video that I have included below, this man is basically being recorded telling his wife or partner that he basically hates being a father. Meanwhile, his social media is full of pictures of him holding the kids and smiling and looking like father of the year. This is one of the reasons why when people tell me, oh, my husband, he loves being a father. He wants more kids. He's such a great dad. When people post, about their husbands and all that stuff and their boyfriends playing with the kids, don't get me wrong. I hope it's true. I wish happiness for everyone. I don't want bad for anyone. But in the back of my head, I'm always like, I wonder how much truth there is to this. Because in the case of a man wanting to have more children or a child, let's take out the notes. Let's see, you're going to be the one to carry the child, right? You're probably going to be the one to give up your career or put your career on pause, right? Your body is going to be the one that goes through the changes and it may or may not recover from it. 9 times out of 10, you're going to be the one taking care of the child. You're going to register it for school. You're going to register it for after school activities. You're going to be the one to take the child to the after school activities. You're going to be the one to set up doctor's appointments, administer medicine if there's medicine that needs to be administered. And if that child is special needs, you're going to be the one doing all the legwork and talking to the specialists and the doctors. And then every now and then, when you get a little tired, you might be lucky enough to have a husband who might give the kids a bath every now and then to do you a favor, or he might be kind enough to take the kids to school if you're really exhausted, really tired, or sick. But you're going to do 90% of everything for the kids. And because society is built the way it is and it warps women and it trains us from a very young age to believe that being a wife and a mom is our job, you're going to trick yourself into believing that you don't mind doing everything because you love it, and that's what moms do for their kids. And then out of all that 90%, that little 10% that your husband or boyfriend does, when you decide to post that on social media, everybody's going to comment about how an amazing fucking father that he is, when in actuality he only played with the kids for like 10 minutes. He only dropped them off like once out of the several times that you've been dropping them off at school that year, and he only did it because you're sick or really tired that day. He did it as a fucking favor. And then after all that, he gets to slap his last name on those kids. And what's even more infuriating is that when a woman, let's say she develops a social life and she's starting to go out more. Let's say that she gets a promotion at her job. Let's say she gets her degree. Let's say her life starts changing for the better for her. He's probably going to try to get her pregnant to stop that shit from happening. And the misconception is only men who are abusive do that shit. Only men who are literally, obviously, physically, emotionally, mentally, verbally abusive do that shit. No, your golden retriever ass husband does that shit too. Men cannot handle their woman competing with them in any way, shape, or form. They cannot fathom the fact that their cook, maid, chef, nurse, sex worker, all the other things that women do could possibly do anything other than stay their ass in the house and take care of them. And even if she has a job outside the home, they need to know that once your ass gets home, you will be taking care of them. You are on a short leash. And for a lot of men, the leash that they keep you on is being able to get you pregnant. I would love to have another baby if I could be the dad. That would probably be the only way that I would ever have another child, is if I could be the dad or have a full-time nanny. And I could just sit back and, every now and then I'll read that child a bedtime story and post that shit on social media. Everybody will just think I'm such an amazing mother, but unfortunately, because I'm a mom, nobody will really give a shit anyway, because we're expected to go above and beyond. So when women say, my husband wants to have another baby, my boyfriend wants to have a baby, I'm like, of course he does, because he's not going to have to do any real work for it. I would have another baby if I had a free nanny too. I mean, shit, that's a good ass deal, right? And it's also another reason why when a woman goes through hell with the father of her kids, and the father still visits the kids and everything, but he wreaks havoc in her life, women will say, well, at least he's around. And they'll totally ignore the fact that he is a complete asshole and he's a horrible person, because as long as you show up in any way, you're a great dad by default. I heard someone say this quote years ago, that it takes so little to be seen as a bad mom, and it also takes so little to be seen as a good dad. And ain't that the fucking truth? You know how you come home from a long day of work and you might sit in the car just to defrost for a couple of minutes? A lot of men do that because they really just don't want to come in the fucking house and see you or the kids. A lot of men take up these hobbies because they fucking hate being at home. Women, we might do it, sure, we want to escape, the responsibilities that we have at home, but a lot of times we're doing it so we can discover ourselves, so we can just have a little piece of something just for us. But men want to fucking escape responsibility. They are fucking tired of us. They don't like us. Unless your husband is in the NBA and he's training or something, the reason why he spends his whole fucking off day from work playing sports is because he just fucking hates being around you. Oh man, Jules, you can't be like that. That's harsh. Well, I mean, the truth hurts. I can understand a couple hours, but a lot of these dudes be gone for the whole fucking day. Because they don't want to be home with you and the kids. Just like patriarchy lied to us, it lied to them too. They got that family, they got those 2 children, they got that fucking house or apartment or whatever the case may be, and they're like, oh shit, I really didn't... I didn't realize it was going to be like this. Oh, fuck. And it manifests in a way that either that man's going to abuse you, he's just going to be a warm body inside the house and just kind of exist there. He's just going to pitch in, only in extreme circumstances when you're overwhelmed and tired. Or he's just going to fucking disappear completely, or in a socially acceptable way in the form of a hobby that takes hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of his time, being locked away in his man cave, being locked away in his office, on a golf course, on a basketball court, somewhere other than at home, where you will be 9 times out of 10. And the funny thing is, when you want to do something, you will have to ask. You will have to make sure it's okay with him. You will have to figure out how to make everything easy and comfortable for him if you just decide to run to Target for 5 fucking minutes. But if he wants to roll out of bed and scoot on down and go fishing with his bros all day, that's totally fine, because you're just going to be there to take care of the kids, as per usual. You already have kids and your boyfriend or husband says they want more. I want you to look at who does most of the work in this situation, okay? If your boyfriend or husband says they want kids for the first time, you need to sit down and have a clear expectation of how this shit's gonna go. And if it doesn't go that way, what are you gonna do about it? We have to think with our heads. We have to have plans in place. Because if men aren't gonna do anything else, they're going to make sure that their needs get met, that they get taken care of, and that they always have an outlet to release stress. Sometimes, unfortunately, that outlet is taking it out on us, taking it out on the kids. You, as a mom, getting a break shouldn't be a once in a while occurrence as a little treat. That's not a birthday gift. It's not a Mother's Day gift. It should be happening often. And don't give me the bullshit about, well, he works outside the home. You work too. That's why nannies aren't free. That's why babysitters are not free. Daycare is not free, because caring for a child is work.